Hello, lovelies. It's here with Golden Tarot, and I'm here to bring you another channel message. I hope this message finds you blessed and full of abundance. So, I was kind of meditating before I opened up this, and I have to, in spirit, showed me the Six of Swords and the Ace of Cups. So, I feel like spirit wants to talk here about overcoming a tendency to run away from a connection or to run away from real love. Now, whether that be real love between you and another person, whether that be between you and God, between you and yourself, and walking away from and rising above and evolving out of old tendencies around love, grounding in a new potential for yourself and planting a new seed that spirit is planting inside of you, restabilizing your foundation. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of energy coming towards that. But let's get more into it. I feel like this next part of your journey is really going to be about that. Is what really going to be about restabilizing, offering you a different perspective on the situation. And also, I just wanted to say, as you can tell, we're outside today. I'm at the park. So there's people around me. There's people fishing. There's people like walking their dogs and stuff. So if there's background noise that bothers you, sorry. I'm out in the real world. So, okay. So we had the High Priestess and the Seven of Pentacles. The High Priestess and the Seven of Pentacles pop up. Again, it's this energy of your intuition talking to you. And also spirit speaking with you with things that are unspoken. Maybe even things that might be secrets that your subconscious is holding, or secrets that your subconscious holds within yourself. I'll take that as a yes. I hear the crow in the background cawing. I don't know if my device picked that up, but yeah. So it's this kind of evolution here also around the fact that we have this here where it's like spirit is giving, oh my gosh, that's so weird. It's a white squirrel, y'all. That's so random. Anyway, some of y'all might want to look that up. I know squirrels as spirit animals are about, it's about adaptability. It's also about like putting up things and like preparing for times, like, I don't want to say hard times, but preparing for things that are to come. So it's like about preparation and adaptability. Okay, the sun really wanted to show itself here. Okay, and so there's light here. There is light being shown on, and when I said that, I was shown in my third eye the Four of Pentacles. So it's kind of this energy of keeping things stowed away inside of you. So maybe some of you are being asked to really go inside and really question and ask yourself about maybe even like suppression of emotions, suppression of past memories, suppression of things that you've been through in your past, repression of trauma or emotions that you've been through that give this kind of spiky or kind of like sticky energy, this kind of standoffish energy around love or acceptance. Even if this is about your connection with God, it could be about trust, about faith, about understanding that the universe has your back and that things are working in alignment to set you up for good, positive things to come into your life. If you are kind of reevaluating your relationship with that, your relationship with your connection to the divine, your relationship with your connection with the universe, with yourself. Because I think if we're talking about your connectivity and your relationship to other people, to your community, to your passions, to your desires, and to yourself, we all ultimately are talking about your connection to God. We ultimately are talking about your connection to the universe, right? Because we're all connected and everything connects back to God. So we have this like progression here where it's like God giving you this new seed to be planted, because we were talking about that here recently in the collective, right? Like dig your hole because you're new, because the seed is being given to you. So there's like this fresh new idea that's being offered to you from God, a fresh new connection and availability And yes, it's like Spirit wants to talk to you about your availability to connect with them, your availability to connect with something deeper, your availability to connect with God, to connect with nature, to connect with the signs and the symbols that are around you, and also having awareness of the signs, of the symbols that your spirit guides and that God uses to connect with you. So we have the Seven of Pentacles here, which is about waiting, is about planting your seeds and tending your garden and watching your seeds grow. And then we also have here, like here in the background behind the High Priestess, we have the garden that has grown and these fruits that have grown, and they are available for harvest, right? Like this High Priestess. So it's about your intuition guiding you to wait and to gather and to really focus on gaining this new perspective, right? They're showing me the Hanged Man. Spirit could also be telling you to kind of let down your walls, learn to have trust in your discernment, trust in yourself, especially if you have been in abusive situations, emotionally or physically. Trigger warning, if you have been in narcissistic dynamics, or just dynamics where people have emotionally or physically taken advantage of you, even if it's not to do with your body, whether if it's to do with like finances, or if it's due with just like questionable situations that you might have found yourself in because of your people pleasing tendencies. Spirit wants to talk about that too, and about how that might have shut you down for a while and really triggered you having like this really harsh wall around you, and how Spirit is saying, let down your walls and let me in. So let's keep going. Oh, there's a lady out there canoeing. I don't know if you can see her. Where is she? She's out there canoeing, but I was like, I can't. There she is. She's like way out there, right here. She's out there canoeing, and she has like a radio like in her canoe, and I kept hearing music, and I was like, where's that music coming from? I don't know if my device is picking it up, but that's why I was looking around like that, because I was like, where's that music coming from? But there's a lady out there canoeing, and she has 3737 down the clock, but 373 also might be significant to you. We have the Hangman again, and we also have the Hierophant out here. So absolutely, this is about your connectivity to something higher, to a higher power. 757 down on the clock. Ooh, and the sun showed itself again as well. So you're getting this really, really deep spiritual heavenly connection here. If that doesn't resonate for you, if it's something more to like you're just connecting to the cosmos, you're connecting to the universal energy, you're connecting to the powers that, to the higher powers that are trying to manifest a higher world into being. And you're receiving the information that you need to go on this journey, right? I don't know if my device is picking up, but there's a really loud plane that's flying overhead. So this, and also with the sevens, right? With the 737 and the 757, it's about divine changes that are bringing in soul evolution. 7 is the number of soul evolution. 911 down on the clock. This is a serious situation that Spirit is like, you might have even prayed for this. You might have called for help. You might have called in help. You could have been really asking God, like, please help to bring me in higher evolved thought process, which also like leads to me having higher level of connections, my soul family, my true life purpose, for like finding things that I really deeply connect into in people and groups, and my divine life path to go down. And Spirit is shining a light now, right? It's shining a light on the work that you have been doing and how the work that you have been doing is leading you to your purpose, is what I'm hearing Spirit say. Yeah, King of Cups. Also, in the next fire sign season, which from the time that I'm filming this, I think, because we're in Taurus right now, so I guess it would be Leo, because we have Taurus and then Cancer and then Leo. So I guess it would be like Leo, which is in like July, August. In that, sometime in that time range, obviously this is a timeless reading, so let it resonate. You find this when you're meant to, so it could be just the next fire sign season to the closest to whenever you find this reading. But there's just a lot of fire energy that's coming out here, and it's this kind of dynamic between like the sun coming out and shining a light on this water energy. So it's kind of like this fire water. So definitely, especially, yeah, the timing of right now, even if we've already passed it, the next year of, because like Cancer Leo is like really standing out to me. So sometime around that might be really significant, could be timing for you. This King of Cups feels like a person though. For some of you, it could be just an energy, but for a lot of you, I feel, for some of you, it could be energy, it could be a spirit guide, but for a lot of you, I feel like it's an actual 3D person that you could come into contact with. For some of you, I heard like maybe like a counselor or a therapist or someone who is really in touch with their emotional side, someone who's really good at helping others digest suppressed emotions or emotions that might be buried in their subconscious or just emotions that might be hidden under the surface. Even if this is just a really knowledgeable person, like an elder or somebody that could give you some really good advice, even if it's not like a paid professional. It's given me this kind of energy of a person who is really good at listening and then being like, well, can you see how maybe this, because there's something here about this person helping you to tie together things that you previously were unable to see were connected to each other. So it's like, well, this is happening and that's happening and I'm doing this and I'm feeling this and this is happening, and this person is like, well, it really seems like to me that those things can be connected. And you're like, wait, how? And it's like, well, it's very possible that you could be doing this or you could be feeling that because this is happening and that's happening and you're having this dream or you're feeling like this or this is happening in your life, and that seems like it really ties into this emotion that you are digesting at the moment. And it's just kind of like, oh wow, it's like a person who has, again, it's that hangman energy, it's that change in perspective energy, where it's like somebody from the outside that's not so personally attached to it or isn't so emotionally invested in it, and this person is kind of like, oh hey, here, like I can help you find your way through this. Yeah, I'm hearing like a shepherd to lead you through something. And for some reason I am seeing the scene from one of the episodes of Rick and Morty, the TV show Rick and Morty, and it's the scene where Morty is trying to like hang a shelf, and he's like, "This is perfectly level," and Rick is like, "No, this isn't perfect level. You want me to show you perfectly level?" And Morty's like, "Yeah, whatever, Rick," and he walks away, and like Rick creates like, of course, this device where he makes like the actual like perfectly cosmic leveled, and then Morty stepped inside of it and he's just like, oh wow, my body feels all like this and like that. And then he's like, okay, it's time to get out of it. And he's like, no. And he's like, cosmic lambs to the slaughter. He's like, it's not real. Nothing is real anymore. Everything hurts. Everything is off kilter. It feels so terrible. So this person can help you process a loss of something that you felt like was really perfect, or that like, it's almost like you have this phase in your life, or it could have been a position, it could have been a relationship, it could have been a job, it could have been a dream that you had that seemed perfect, or that seemed to fit in just perfectly, and then something could have fallen apart, like a tower moment could have happened here, that interrupted this seemingly perfect event or this perfect timing, or, you know, when it seemed like everything was lining up and like a huge obstacle came up, or you weren't able to take that trip, or you weren't able to make things work out with that person. And or it's like, it should have been like this. Like, this was my expectation. This is what I was expecting. This is what I was praying for. And I felt like all of that was coming into alignment. And then I felt like all of a sudden, you know, just suddenly out of nowhere, it got snatched away from me. And you could have developed a very like ill trust, or like ill-fated kind of like, actually, no, like, you know, it's giving me a very like emotionally shut down kind of energy, where it's like, I'm sorry I'm saying like so much, which I know is an issue I'm trying to work on in myself, but it's this emotion that feels hard to like put your finger on. It's something that seems like it could really be working in the background, but consciously you might not be exactly processing that event is causing these emotions, or, you know, like you have developed some kind of way that you look at the world, or some kind of emotional process, or some kind of thought process that is really, really tied into this tower moment that you went through. And oh, there's ducks. Until this moment with this person. I mean, this could even be you just meeting up and hanging out with a really cool friend, and you just get into a really deep talk with this person, and because they're kind of on the outside, they're able to have a very deep and honest conversation with you and be like, well, have you thought about that these two things could be connected? Like, do you think that it has something to do with this relationship, or do you think that it has something to do with this falling apart? And you're like, actually, I don't know why I haven't thought about that, but yeah, I do feel like that could have something to do with that. I do feel like this could have some kind of connection. Yeah. And I feel like it's gonna be really rewarding. Again, there's that shepherd energy. And I definitely think like post this, however long it happens, it could be just a single conversation. Like I said, it could be a professional that you work with over a period of time. It could be someone that you meet through your job or through your career. Or it could be somebody that you hire. Or it could be somebody that you just run into. You could spend like a single day. I don't know. You know, you could go to some, I don't want to say family function. So for some of you, it could be like a family function or a gathering. It could be somebody's birthday party, or like a family reunion or something like that. You run into someone and you have this really deep conversation with them, and they put, at the very least, if you don't share like really deeply personal information, you could just be talking about yourself or talking about your life, updating them on what's happening, and they say something that is really kind of revolutionary for you, and it kind of changes the way you've been thinking about a particular situation that has happened to you in the past. Especially if this, again, if the situation really triggered some kind of abandonment wound, or some kind of feeling like you were lost out in the cold by yourself, having to handle everything by yourself. And I do feel like whoever this person is a soulmate for you. Like I said, you know, even if it's just a person that you hang out with for a single day, I do feel like this person is coming in a very meaningful time in your life. And there is a fly that's coming around, and it's making me feel like there's something in your life that's draining, or there's something in your life that like stinks, or it smells, and you've become nose blind to it, is what they're giving me. It's giving me this energy of like, there's something here that's sitting in your consciousness, that's sitting on your soul, and you're not aware of how much it's taking away from you, you know, how much it's kind of actually draining you, or keeping you at a, I don't want to say a low vibration, you know, but it's something that's just kind of like, you really need to process this. And if you need help from outside of yourself to process this, Spirit is going to bring that in. And it feels like it is, like, especially if you know there's something you've been helped. Yeah. Can I get another clarifying card for this, please, before I talk on it? Please, Spirit. Also, for some of you, I just got this. For some of you, you could feel like somebody's being very judgmental about your spiritual path. Say, you're here watching tarot. If it's you watching tarot, or you pulling your own cards, or maybe you've been pulling away from going to a traditional church, or having traditional beliefs around your spirituality. Maybe you're transitioning from a more like religious belief system to a more spiritual based belief system, or vice versa. Whatever the scenario is, I feel like there is also this kind of judgment energy that you could be facing, or that you could have faced. Maybe that was the tower moment. Maybe something you had, like a falling out with a family member, or with a friend, or with a spouse, or with a loved one, or with a community, because they're just like, no, we don't get down with that, right? And it's like, if this is the type of God that you're connecting to, then we're not going to connect with you, Yeah. Wow. Yeah. 10 of Wands coming out here with the 9 of Wands and the Tower moment. Yeah. And I feel, but what I do feel like is that I feel like you stood 10 toes down in your belief system. If you didn't, then that might be what you're processing. Your soul might be processing some type of falseness within yourself. Like, I knew what I really felt and I caved in anyway. Or I knew how I wanted to, like, I know how I want to connect to God, or I know how I want to see the world, or I know that the way that I was raised, or these group of people, the way that I've been around, I feel like it is not jiving with who I really am and with my soul. And out of nowhere, I have like this really, oh goodness, I have this really intense feeling in my jaw. For some of you, this could be something that you are holding back. Like, I feel like grinding your teeth. Like, you could really be silencing yourself, or you could feel really silenced, you could feel really like I want so badly to be able to freely stand in my truth and stand who I am. I just heard, let my freak flag fly. So it's like, okay, fine, if you want to label me a freak, if you want to label me a witch, if you want to label me a heretic, if you want to label me a weirdo, for some of you, you could be overcoming. There's some big fish that keeps flopping in the water back there, flopping around in the water, and I keep hearing it splash. But it's kind of like, if you want to label me that, if you want to excommunicate me, if you want to kick me out, if you want to say that you can't be friends with me, or you can't be family with me, or you can't support me in my lifestyle, or in my belief system, or me being who I really am, then it's like having the strength and the bravery to kind of overcome that. And for some of you, I feel like, so for some of you, you could be at the point where you were like, I tried to be myself and I got persecuted for it, and then I kind of backed down. I compressed myself back down. But it's like, once I saw the freedom that I could have from truly being who I was, or truly living in my truth of who I really wanted to be, I can't go back. Did y'all hear that? Did you hear that thing like splash in the water back there? Like, oh, that's a lady. That's a lady. It's the lady in her kayak. She's back there behind me, and I was like, but it definitely could be a situation here for you where you are feeling like, I really truly want to be myself. And if that means that you reject me, or you don't want to be my friend, or you don't want to be my family, or you don't want to do that anymore, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, and I release you, and I feel like that process of finding release in that, finding truth in yourself, is going to be really powerful for you. So wherever you are in this journey, if you are in the very beginning of the journey and you were just realizing, hey, like, I want to do something different, I want to be somebody different, or if you are at the place where you have already tried and you've collapsed back down, or if you were going, and no judgment, because we're all on our separate journeys about different things, and I feel like for some of you, you also could have been like standing 10 toes down in that, right? Being like, no, this is who I am, and if you don't accept me, then I can't do this, and whichever path that you chose or whichever journey you are going down to find yourself, I support you and I salute you in doing that, because I know that it's not an easy thing to do, and it's not easy to decide to stand in your truth regardless of how other people feel about you, or how other people might judge you for it. And for some of you, you could definitely be overcoming some kind of persecution wound. Hearing that, whether or not that's from a past life or whether or not that's from this life, you could have that kind of energy mirroring, a past. And yeah. So I feel like for some of you, you're already past that moment, but you just need someone, or you need something more to kind of help you to emotionally process that, because there could be this kind of feeling of like, well, this is unfair. It's unfair that I can't be myself and also have the support of my friends, or be myself and also have the support of my family, or have the support of my community, especially if you were really involved in a very traditional community and it has been such a main source of like strength and power and community for you, and then to find yourself suddenly on the outskirts of that, it can be really hard to find your stability and your balance, and to find yourself again after that. But you are on a journey to do that, and I feel like there are a lot of karmic lessons wrapped up in having the bravery and the strength to stand up and to fight against that kind of like restriction. It's this very like Saturn, it's this very it is this very restrictive feeling. So for some of you, you could also be going through like your Saturn return, especially if some of you are around the age of like 27. You could be going through this energy of reinventing yourself afterwards. And Spirit, I feel like, is commending you for finding the strength inside of yourself to do that and to be that. And I feel like it's going to be a thing where you can do it in small, even if it's you taking small steps to find that truth within yourself. I definitely think for a lot of you, you're standing at that precipice of that decision, right? Of who to decide to be. Yeah, and I feel like it's this kind of like, I choose to stand in who I am. I choose to stand in what I believe in. I choose to, regardless of what other people's choices or other people's decisions or how other people might judge who I am or who I choose to be, I choose to stand in that. And I choose to use my voice to empower myself instead of keeping myself small. Sorry about that. Yeah, so in this, we have the Four of Swords here, right? And the Four of Swords is about finding peace, right? About finding peace before you have to go into the Five of Swords, which usually can be about like fighting competition, but it can also be about finding your will and finding your willpower and finding your strength within yourself, right? Finding your willpower and finding your strength within yourself. So with this Four of Swords, I took notes over here. So with this Four of Swords, I'm getting that it's about you finding your strength to find peace in where you are and to find peace with who you are, to stand 10 toes in who you are, and to be okay with leaving behind some people, leaving behind some places, jobs, philosophies, even things that have felt like home or things that have felt like where you were really supposed to be, having the strength and the willpower within that to leave that behind anyway, right? To stand 10 toes in that energy and say, this is who I choose to be, this is who I am, and those who choose to accept me and to love me for who I am can come with me, and those who choose not to, okay, peace be with you. Go on about your business, right? Because I'm going to continue along with mine. So this 4 of Swords to this 5 of Swords is giving me this energy of standing tall and having the willpower and the strength to say, this is who I am. Because the 5 of Swords can also be about you being willing to do what it takes to find your victory, right? Because the 5 of Swords leads to the, I think about the 6 of Wands, but it leads to the 6 of Swords, which is where we very first started in this, right? I halved on the 6 of Swords and the Ace of Cups, which is about you walking away from what doesn't serve you to go and find that kind of like true love, true self-acceptance energy. I'm also here, I took notes on this, with this 7 of Wands is also giving me this kind of like stand tall, walk tall, you know, like standing up, defending yourself. And here we had 7, 5, 7. 7 of Wands, 5 of Swords, 7 of Pentacles, 7, 5, 7. 31, 31 down the clock when I said that. Which is about like 4, 4. 4, 4 is a big like angel protection number for me. And it's also this energy of, it's also this kind of like masculine energy, right? 4 is the number of the Emperor. And it's about, it's about finding the masculine strength to put your convictions into action, right? To really be about what you talk about, you know, walk it like you talk it, right? To really be about and stand in what, and it's to stand in your principles and be like, that's fine, you're standing in your principles, but I'm also standing in my principles. And if I have to face this kind of feeling of persecution, or I have to face this kind of feeling of judgment based on who I choose to be and what I choose to believe, fine. You know, there isn't, and it's kind of like facing this sense of injustice that might have brought up inside of you, because the truth of the matter is, when it really comes down to it, we can't control other people. We can't control what other people accept, what other people participate in. We can't control how other people react to us. All that we can control is how we respond to how people react to you know, just walking in our truth and being being what we are. And so so your stance on things should not be reliant on other people's exception or rejection, right? Like, I do this because other people accept that I do this, or I don't do that because I expect, or I am told I will be rejected for doing that. And it's this energy of walking away from that. Like, I changed my positions because there was those guys that were like fishing behind me, which is fine. They're doing their thing, right? And so there's kind of like this switching of positions. This switching of positions that's happening here, that's kind of just like, there could also be there's a very powerful movement energy here, especially with us starting out with the 6 of Swords. The Chariot definitely could come out here too. And on the back of the deck, we also have the Knight of Wands. So it's kind of like taking this very passionate decision, you know, making this very passionate, quick movement here. And this 757 energy is kind of based on this finding peace. I find peace. I choose my peace. I choose to find peace in who I am. I choose to find my peace not in other people's exception or rejection of me, but I choose to find peace in my own acceptance of myself, right? I accept who I am. I have come into this new version of self-love and this new version of self-acceptance that is not dependent on other people's reflection of me. So it's kind of like you breaking out of the need to have this kind of mirroring energy, which is kind of like you breaking out of karma, right? You breaking out of the need to have this kind of, we come into contact with karmic soulmates and karmic partners and karmic things for us, karmic situations, so because they reflect something inside of us that spirit really wants us to work on, or they reflect something inside of us that we have done before that we need to face, right? Whether that be in the past or that be in a past life. And so I'm getting this kind of feeling here that you are breaking out of this need to have that reflection, to have this kind of mirroring energy. Like, I don't need people to mirror what I should believe. I don't need people to mirror my same choices and my belief system around you. Again, that's tapping into that kind of people pleasing energy. And it's also this kind of energy of, I don't need to be around people that need me to mirror back their own belief systems to them so they can stand in their own truth, right? I'm breaking out of codependency. I do not need, wow, that was a big fish. I do not need to have that energy reflected. There could be really strong Piscean energy here because I'll have a lot of, like, when I was down there was a lot of fish jumping behind me. And now that I've moved down here, there's a lot of fish jumping behind me. So there's this kind of energy of this kind of movement. Again, it's this kind of, again, in my mind's eye, I keep seeing the fish, like the fish jumping and changing. Sorry, I got something in my eye. Ooh, wee. Okay. And maybe you felt that way. Because again, they're showing me they're showing me the two of swords that came up here. So this could be something that you were blinded to, that you couldn't see. You could not see how much your actions were actually being based on other people's wants and desires. So you definitely could be really taking it back, doing some really deep inner child wound healing, or just really getting in touch with your inner child and saying, like, who originally, before I came here, before I had all these layers piled up on top of me. That's that 10 of Wands energy that we've been talking about here on the channel, right? I have all of these layers piled up on top of me of, the body I was born into, of the family I was born into, of, the country, the state, the religion, the philosophies of those things that I was born into, and how all of those, in just the time period I was born into too, and how all of those kind of thought consciousness kind of pile on top of who we really are at the core sense of ourselves, at the very core of our soul being, who we originally came here to be. And I definitely feel like, for those of you who are really resonating with this, I feel like this is a key, a really strong key to you tapping into this. Who was I really born to be? Who do I really want to be? What type of life do I really want to live? Do I want to live my life based on what other people think of me? Because on the surface, I might have thought, no, I'm rebelling, or no, but even the act of rebelling is still basing that act of rebellion on what you are rebelling away from, right? Even if it's like, well, everybody wears pink, so I want to wear black. Well, you're wearing black because everybody wears pink. It's not like, well, I love the color black, and despite the fact that everybody's wearing the color pink, I love the color black, so I'm just going to wear the color black, So there could be this energy inside of you where you weren't even aware of how much you were being affected by other people's wants and desires and other people's expectations that were placed on you, because it was buried down so deep in your subconscious that you weren't aware of how deeply the roots of that sunk down inside of you. And you have, in this process of walking through your dark night, going through your trials, going through your 9 of Wands, going through your karmic lessons. Wow, I got really hung up on that. Going through your karmic lessons, and maybe that's it. This is something that you might have if I obviously, based on what I've talked about here, I obviously do believe in past lives, and obviously you don't have to, but I talk about it a lot here on the channel, because that is my belief system. And there is this kind of energy of tearing down this old belief system based on, you could have really been trying to learn this lesson for lifetimes, or you could have been really trying to learn this lesson for many years of your life. Spirit could have really been trying to really hammer into you this kind of, like, who do you really want to be? This is not so much about them as it is about you, and also the importance of the energy and the people that we surround ourselves with, and what that says about us as well. And Spirit doesn't want to put as much emphasis on that. They want you to really focus on, like, if none of that mattered, if your family's expectations, of society's expectations of you, your community's expectations of you, whatever it is, if you were just in a place where you knew no one and none of that had any rule on you, who would you be? And I'm hearing the train horn in the background, so Archangel Michael could be really coming in strong here, telling you to stand up and defend yourself, telling you to cut away, these kind of draining cords of all these other expectations that have kind of been chaining you to a very singular belief system. I don't feel like any of us are, like, all of our belief systems are complex and are made out of many different facets. We are all multifaceted beings, and we have a lot of different things that influence us and pull us in different directions. Oh, that breeze feels so good. You guys, it was so good. I'm sorry, I just had to take a moment because I'm so happy I came out here today. And I'm happy you guys are here sharing this moment with me. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. Oh yes, Spirit, thank you. I took some notes. Oh, the crow's cawing again. 911 here. So I'm also with that 911. Were you calling in help? 9. Spiritual lessons. Going through those hardships and overcoming. Knowing what to do because you have, because you've learned your lesson. It's time, y'all. The guys that were fishing behind me, they were down here where I am now, and then they traded and went kind of like where I was over here a minute ago, and they were like, I overheard them talking about how, it's time, the fish are biting, and they didn't really catch any fish over here, but then when they came over there where I was, they caught, like, each of them caught like 2 or 3 different fish, so the fish were really biting. So it is that time, and I think that is kind of really standing out to me, because Spirit is saying that it's that time, and 2, that little break that I took where I was just like, like breathing and listening to the birds and listening to the fish, swimming around and everything, and feeling the breeze. It is this 4 of Swords energy, right? That moment of finding peace where you are, even despite the fact that this might be going on in the background, or you could still be in this kind of recovery period from this, right? Because it is this grand awakening, this grand realization, that, oh snap, I'm waking up to all of these layers and all of these masks, and I'm going down and I'm doing my dark night, and I am facing my shadow energy within me. I'm facing any kind of guilt or shame or pain that I might have shoved down inside of my shadow. And it is this energy of finding peace in that journey, even though it might be very painful, very difficult. Spirit is asking us to really look at some really hard things. It feels like there is this turning point that is coming in your journey where it is going to be less about pain and less about sitting in that pain, and it is going to be more about purging it and releasing it and feeling the relief of that. Yay. Absolutely, it's divine time for this to be happening. So where's our other one? Who's our other? Well, we started out here with the Ace of Cups, right? That was the very beginning of it, leaving behind all of the things that we've been talking about to go towards that Ace of Cups, to go towards that passionate new beginning. And that kind of is that lessons that lead us to a passionate new beginning and planting that seed that is held within that cup, right? And we have the Six of Cups as well as the Six of Pentacles. So exchanging, alchemizing this kind of energy. Again, it's that energy of alchemizing that pain for relief. Alchemizing and finally taking the time to really look at that pain and allow yourself to process that and to feel that relief of getting that anger out, getting that pain out, getting that want for revenge out, or getting that want for something different, that cry for freedom. Like your soul is crying out for freedom and relief from this energy. And I feel like you are in the phase now where you are going to start feeling that relief coming in for you. You're going to have this softer union here with a truer sense of yourself. Because I feel like a lot of the pain and discomfort that you were feeling was because that you were living a life that wasn't true to yourself, or true to who your soul really wants to be. Your soul really doesn't want to really hold on to the anger from your past and what you've gone through. It really wants to be in compassionate understanding of self and compassionate understanding of other people, and even seeing other people as cosmic beings who are on their own journey, dealing with their own pains, dealing with their own issues. And it's not about, I'm not talking about finding forgiveness here, or letting it go and not talking about it anymore, but getting to a place in your life where you can be more free from this kind of restriction of that weight that holding on to that type of energy can leave in your body. Whether that, oh, it's like a big stork. And it's this kind of feeling of, yeah, and it's almost like you're throwing off this big cloak. It's like being under one of those big, huge, like weighted blankets, or, and this release could come with, I could see you here like dropping excess weight, whether it be just water weight or actually like poundage, especially if you are in defensive mode. We can tend to, like, if we're holding on and suppressing those emotions, we can tend to eat our emotions, which can cause us to gain extra weight. Or if we are in a situation where we are feeling psychologically or emotionally attacked, we can also, our body can interpret that as an actual physical attack and can hold on to extra weight to kind of insulate us. And so I see this kind of like, it's like you're under this blanket, it's all weighted down, it's like it's winter, and you're under this big huge coat, and and then the sun comes out, right? The sun comes out, and here you are, this child throwing off. I know this is like a banner, but that's what it feels like. It feels like you're throwing off this weight, and it's like you, and I can stretch and I can expand and I can, it's you throwing off this kind of time of karma, this time of suppression, this time of, and it's this kind of feeling of like the pressure building up and you becoming this diamond, right? You becoming this, yeah. Yeah, it is kind of that, like that, this kind of pressurized feeling. And then you're like, ah, finally, this grand release. And definitely for some of you, this can be, I see for some of you, you getting really involved and really grounding into your body. There's like this comfortable feeling where it's like, it feels comfortable to be in your body. It feels comfortable to be you. And for some of you, this definitely could be physical. Like you could actually become, you could do, get into an exercise routine or get into, for some of you, I'm finding that like you've been having like some really bad like gut issues, and so you could have been holding a lot of weight, or you could have been, so this could be you getting a new like a healthier for you, whatever that looks like, eating routine, or finding a diet, or finding a um whatever it is that you're eating, finding something that feels more healthy and more like you, and finding that thing that really helps you get on track. Of course, consult a dietitian, consult your doctor. I am just a person here. I am not qualified to give you that. Um, um, but I just feel like this grand release energy coming towards you, and it feels like on multiple levels. It feels like because you are emotionally releasing this kind of pressure on yourself to perform, or this pressure on yourself to look a certain way or do a certain thing. So it's kind of just like, I can just let that weight of that go, and I can just be me, and I can just have fun, and I can just feel good. And it's like this energy of like, it feels good to be me. It feels good to ground in my body. It feels good to be this person that I am here. There is this kind of deeper rejection of self that is being purged from your body. So it's like, your emotional body, your etheric body, your physical body. It feels like on multiple layers, you are kind of just purging and releasing and letting go. Just, yeah, like energetically just letting all of that go, and just kind of dropping that dead weight, dropping that. And again, I don't mean that to body shame or to whatever, whatever feels good to you. And I'm not saying that there's a certain weight or a certain look or a certain diet or anything that is going to be the one way for you to find that level of acceptance within self. But there's something here about finding this really deep, harmonious feeling within yourself that is like, this is right. Finding that group of people, finding that routine, finding that, that spiritual practice, finding that, physical practice, finding that emotional practice that feels right. And you're like, wow, my body's feeling so good. My mind is feeling so good. I'm getting in harmony and things are lining up because I am allowing myself to expand within my true self. I'm allowing myself to be my true self. They are screaming. They're like way back here over here, and they're so loud. But they're biking. They're biking and they're like yelling and talking to each other. So there could be something about that. I definitely feel like a big alignment with like soul family, with like real, because you are in alignment with self and alignment with spirit, which is being in alignment with self, whatever that looks like for you. I don't know, for some of you, for some of you, you might find like a hiking group or a biking group or some type of way to physically move your body. It could be going to dance class. It could be finding a meditation group, finding a spiritual group, a witch group, finding, a religious group that really aligns with yourself. This could be something that I feel like it combines a lot of these things. So you could find yourself going, being like, I want to find a hiking group because it's starting to be summer. It's really feeling good. I want to be outside. I want to feel more active. And you could find people who are in alignment with more than one thing within that group. I'm not saying maybe not all of the people, but it could be even just this one person. You could find a very significant person that's like, I'm also on my spiritual journey. I'm also, doing this. I'm also, and it feels like an alignment. It definitely feels like a shifting into an alignment in multiple layers of your life. So I definitely feel like this emotional relief kind of energy is also coming with a big physical relief. It's also coming with a spiritual, alignment. It's just like multiple layers of everything kind of just you know, lining up. Because that's what happens when we get in alignment with self, when we get in alignment with, and stop being apologetic about who we truly are and who we truly want to be. You know, you start going to those things. I'm saying for some of you, maybe, for some of you, this could be about joining some kind of theater group, or, you know, you could start volunteering in your community. You could put together some kind of sports group. You could put together some kind of theatrical, something. You know, you could meet some people who want to get together and start putting together like dance classes or plays, or there's something also, it's something very physical, but there's something also very creative about it. That's what it is. Like, because you're tapping into that true self, you're tapping into that physicality, that passion, that fire. It's feeling kind of like an Ace of Wands energy. And it's really tapping you into your wish fulfillment, which you have been driving and striving for. I also feel like for some of you, there is also a cutting away here from this kind of a kind of devil energy here that could be represented by this King of Wands energy. It could be a devil energy that's wrapping around. This could be a particular person, or this could be like an energy within yourself where you have been rejecting this kind of like getting up, getting active, doing what you need to do, procrastination, you know, subverting expectations is what I just heard. Oh no, am I in an anthill? No, something was just crawling on me. And there's also this fear, again, I keep talking about this fear of judgment. There's the Judgment card, and there's the 5 of Cups here as well. So it's kind of this feeling of, I feel you detaching. Yeah, you're detaching from some kind of betrayal energy here with the 10 of Swords. I wrote that down too. The Tower, 10 of Swords, rejection. So there's this kind of like rejection energy where it's like, well, I don't want to be rejected, or I don't want to be, you know, excommunicated, or I don't want to be thrown out of this group, or I don't want to be seen as the problem person. So I won't stand up for myself. I won't have a voice. I'll keep myself small. And it's like, no, I don't. I don't find myself in alignment with that type of feeling or that type of process moving forward anymore. I don't find myself in alignment with that. Exactly. I'm turning my back on this 5 of Cups energy, which is turning your back on this kind of outward interference, this 3 of Cups energy, you know, crying over spilled milk, crying over the way things have been in the past. And I'm turning around and I'm seeing that there is a beautiful 2 of Cups energy here. There is this way that I can interact with myself, that I can interact with the world, that I can interact with people around me, with my community. If my community is not in alignment with me, I can go and find a different community. If my activities that I'm doing are not in alignment with me, I can change it. If my diet is not in alignment with me, it's time that I see, wow, you know, like, not to be like TMI, but it's like, wow, I'm spending all this time on the toilet, or wow, I am feeling so drained. And it's reminding me of, at the beginning of the year this year, me and one of my really good friends decided to be like, we're really going to go on our hydration journey this year. One of our main goals this year was to really get right with our hydration. And when we both were like, we're dedicated to this, we're doing this, we're getting, you know, and we are drinking our, you know, we're drinking as close as we can to our proper amount of, you know, hydration a day. It was crazy. I think I've talked about it on the channel before, but the number of conversations that we have had about how just the simple fact of being properly hydrated changes so much. Like, your skin gets clearer, you feel lighter and brighter and happier, your digestive tract is way better, you know, your sleep is way better, your energy is way better, you know, like the flow of energy, and that's just physically, not to mention, you know, being more, you know, having that more flow energy energetically can get you much more energetically in the flow. It gets that flow, you know, it ups your your conductivity so that energy can flow through your body even better, you know, because being dehydrated is this sense of, you know, it brings in the sense of stagnancy. But when you're bringing that fresh water and you're renewing, you're flushing out your system, you know, and the number of times we have just laughed at us being like, who would have thought that just drinking the proper amount of water would change your life like that, you know? And I definitely do find myself when I am more in spiritual alignment, I crave so much more water than when I know I'm kind of in a stagnant energy and I start rejecting that water, you know? And the more you drink it, the more you crave it, you know. And for me personally, I don't even like add like additives, like, you know, like the little packages or whatever, the flavor additives or everything. I don't do any of that. Like, my body just really, really, really craves just nice, clean water, you know, and how having access to that can change so much within yourself, you know. And of course, it is a privilege to live in a country where we have such access to clean water, you know, where um going without nice clean water and being hydrated is that much of a choice. It is a privilege to be in a position like that. Speaking of that, drink your water. Whew. I need to take a second sip. Oh yeah. I knew it. There it is. And that's definitely that energy, right? Having that experience and going through those lessons to realize, wait, I'm in the Ten of Wands. I've had all of these layers and masks added on top of me, and actually I can relieve myself and I can release those things and I can go back to the Ace and plant in this passionate new beginning for myself. Spirit is giving me an opportunity here. And again, there's the horn in the background. Spirit is giving me an opportunity, you know, to call judgment on these things that no longer, you know, to call judgment on these devil energies in my life. Okay, one more. Yeah, there it is. I didn't expect it to come out that fast. Ooh, yes, Empress. Right? And that's bringing in this Empress energy into your life, right? Planting that brand new beginning, planting that seed. And it's funny here that we have the Ace of Wands, which is kind of like the phallic symbol. And then we have for me personally, the cup is usually the more like feminine symbol as far as like the aces go. But there is this energy of, right, like the phallic symbol with the seed to be planted and then the Empress. You know, there is this opportunity for Spirit to plant this within you and for this to grow, right? There is this fertile energy that's like, if you plant this seed, it will grow. It will grow and it will blossom into something completely new from within you. Which is actually more like your original state, you know. But we all have to go through, that's why we're born here with, you know, the kind of amnesia that we're born here with, not remembering our past, not remembering our soul self, not remembering exactly what it is that we came here to know and to develop, you know, because if so, then we would all be masters of ourselves by the time, you know, we were like 5 or 6 years old, you know. And not all of us, you know, some of us are meant to wake up that young, but not all of us, most of us not, you know. Most of us aren't meant to wake up, you know. We're meant to go through things in life and build up that mask and have something to have that moment of realization within ourselves, to find that path, you know, to kind of stumble along in the forest until we find that path that Spirit has let out for us, you know. Because in finding that way, in finding your way through, that is the soul growth that is the reason that we're here, right? Beautiful. Well, I think this is a good place to call this. So thank you guys so much for being here with me today. I really, really enjoyed this reading. I really enjoyed being out here in nature with you guys and just Oh, it's so nice. It feels so good. It feels so nice. It feels so good. And I really liked what we talked about today. So thank you guys so very much. As always, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for my personal clients who choose to work with me. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for everything. Thank you to your spirits, angels, guardians, ancestors, masters, and guides who guided you here to be in this reading. I hope it gave you the love, light, or clarity that you were searching for. Please like, share, comment down below. Let me know if you feel guided to get a personal reading from me. My contact information is down below. All right. And I also, of course, want to say thank you to my angel spirits, ancestors, guardians, masters, and guides for guiding me through delivering this information as well as keeping me safe while they did so. I appreciate you guys ever so much. And I will see you lovelies in the next one. Okay. Bye.